Hi, I'm Kieran Don, and you're watching the Kieran Don channel on YouTube. Haven't done that intro for a while. Haven't done a video unboxing for a while. And most people probably watching me for the first time, and they're probably going to stop watching 30 seconds. But yeah, so that little piece of dialogue won't matter. So yesterday, when I filmed this, it was yesterday, was the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. And Jake Paul won. You probably would have heard that by now. And we all knew that coming into the fight. You know, like Mike Tyson's 58, Jake Paul's in his 20s. You know? There was no way. Like, unless Mike Tyson knocked him out in the first round, there was no way. Age is a big factor in sport, especially, like, boxing. But, of course, it's got a risky fight. Like, there was no real way Jake Paul would win this fight. Like, he won. Like, he won the fight. It wasn't rigged or anything. But, you know, like, if he won, he beat a 58-year-old. If he lost, he would have lost to a 58-year-old, you know? Now, there's been a lot of people discussing Jake Paul's boxing career and highlighting the negatives. And even this event, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, people were saying it's bad for boxing. I disagree. I think it was good for boxing. I think Jake Paul is good for boxing. Look, I don't think Jake Paul is ever going to be a champion. You know, I don't think he's ever going to go on a streak of fighting a bunch of professionals, you know? He wants to fight Alvarez now. Like, there's no way. Alvarez will smoke him. Even if Alvarez has to go up to his weight class, Jake Paul's weight class, he will still win, you know? And I don't even know if Alvarez would take the fight. You know, Alvarez doesn't need the money. He's still selling out arenas for his own boxing at the moment. He's got titles, so I don't see that's happening. But I reckon Jake Paul's probably going to fight like Conor McGregor or something. But, you know, the Jake Paul fight is getting people who probably would never have watched boxing to watch boxing. This event being on Netflix, for free if you had description of Netflix, that would have got more people watching. It's like, I don't really feel like going to a pub surrounded by sport enthusiasts and alcoholics and gambling addicts and the poker machines. But they don't have to. They can watch it at home, you know, the comfort of their own home, you know, unless you got a crap couch and it's not really comfort. But anyway, but yeah, and people would be like, oh, I like that. I might watch the real thing now. Like, and his last few fights, he's had a really good undercard. This fight had a good undercard. And, you know, even though the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight was pretty crap, it was pretty boring. Considering the rounds only went for 2 minutes, it felt like ages, you know. Mike Tyson got tired real quick. But, saying that, this was still more exciting. Jake Paul's last couple of main events were all more exciting than Floyd Mayweather's last couple of fights. And one of them was against a Paul brother, Logan. And that was the worst thing I ever saw. The fights before it weren't even good. Like, I'm so glad I went to the pub and watched it. It was terrible, you know. But anyway, you know, but back to Jake Paul, who boxing promoter Eddie Hearns called average, you know, which is not really an insult because, you know, most people are unaverage, most people are below average. So it was kind of a compliment, even though Jake Paul didn't take it that way. But yeah, so Jake Paul does, what I'm trying to say, Jake Paul has boxing abilities to make his fights a bit exciting. Probably only because he's fighting people who are his level. But, what I'm trying to say, I think he's good for boxing. People are like criticizing, saying he's not. But, and I'm not necessarily talking about his fights. I'm just talking about the people he will bring in who aren't boxing fans, they're YouTube fans, social media fans, be watching the fights. And he's had good undercards, you know. And he's been platforms for a few fighters, you know. Montana Love, who went on and had a little bit of a successful run, had his big break on one of the Paul's undercard. Montana Love kind of stuffed up. He was fighting Australian Stevie Sparks, and I can't remember what happened. It was some type of stupid brain explosion or something, and he went through the ropes or something. I don't think it ruined his career, but kind of like dented his credibility a bit. The fight before Jake Paul, which is a sequel, it was Katie Taylor from Ireland versus Amanda Serena from Puerto Rico, who's actually Jake Paul's trainer. Now, this is a sequel. Now, see, Jake Paul got those two girls, those two women, to fight at Madison Square Garden. Sold Madison Square Garden. And it was the fight of the year. You know, they would not normally have had that platform if it wasn't for Jake Paul pushing it. So, you know, you got to give that. And this fight card had the sequel to that. And the sequel was just as good. It was a brutal fight. They stuffed up with the decision. Amanda was robbed. I don't know how Katie lost a point for headbutting too much, and I kind of agree with it. So she lost a point and still won. Like, and even if she didn't lose a point, I still reckon she lost. Like, it was a good fight, but you know, results like that really peed me off. The first fight of the main Netflix broadcast was a Indian fighter versus a Brazilian social media. But he's pretty much a Brazilian Jake Paul. Apparently he was the biggest influencer in Brazil at the time. Might still be, I don't know. It was a pretty average fight. The highlight was probably the Indian boxer humping the other guy in the ring for a couple of seconds. And that was it. Lucky you didn't see Mike Tyson's bare butt, you know. That Mike Tyson did an interview and he walked away, you could see his butt. It was like, for me, it was a highlight of the night. I'm like, what the hell was that, you know? But anyway, yeah, and then the fight after that was two Mexicans fighting for a title, Mario Barrios and Abel Ramos. So I probably mispronounced the names, but that was a good fight. Whenever two Mexicans are going at it in the ring, it's always top quality stuff, you know. And yeah, I can't remember who won. I think Mario won, but no one's. But anyway, yeah. Then it was the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, and you know, Jake Paul won. It was a very average fight. There was no highlights of that fight. The real highlight was seeing Mike Tyson walk down to the ring in his classic outfit, and the fight ending. You know, Jake Paul had like apparently the most expensive pair of boxing shorts of all time, which I don't know if that's really anything to brag about, and it seems like a waste of diamonds. But yeah, the broadcast was like not too bad. They had Rosie Perez, the actress from Do the Right Thing and It Could Happen to You, commentate, and she actually knew her stuff. She actually seemed like a boxing fan, you know. I mean, unless someone wrote a script for her, she was just reading it. But I like to think she was a boxing fan. She seemed like she was saying it off the cuff, you know, like coming up with it, you know. Yeah, and yeah, so that's just my opinion. Sorry, there's no fight footage. Or waffled on a bit. I just thought I'd make the point that I think Jake Paul is good for boxing. Not saying he is a good boxer. He's not going to win the world title. But I'm just saying he's not bad for boxing. I wouldn't mind seeing like they could have like a fake feud, which they kind of teased a couple of years ago. It might even been last year. I lose track. I don't really have that much interest in their personal life, but I would like to see the Paul brothers have a fake falling out and settle the rivalry in the ring, you know. But you know, Logan Paul is signed to WWE, and he's actually surprisingly good, you know. His ability, and he's a villain, so people already kind of don't like him, and yeah. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like, please press the subscribe button, whatever. Probably most people probably won't watch the end, but thanks anyway. Kieran Dalton, out.